looks good, but does it feel good? That's a harsh reality for a lot of people these days, especially when it comes to relationships. It's just like the sandals. It looks good, but is it comfortable? Does it feel good? Top question. Before I get into the sandals, I want to touch on this issue of the image versus reality, which is most people most dreaded topic. They hate to deal with the facts of things, not realizing that everything will come to the facts of things eventually. Okay? When you look at relationship these days, and I can speak about what I see, one of the things you realize is that there's a lot of people on the internet screaming on the top of their lungs in their relationships because they don't feel good in the relationship. It looks good for the internet or for social, whatever, for society. It looks good for society, but it doesn't feel good. 50% would be a safe number, but I genuinely, personally think it's more. So let's just go with about 50% of these relationships out there. They don't feel good. The people are telling you. You know what I'm saying? Because what it is to me, people are not their true selves in a lot of relationships. They're not who they really are. They're the relationship self, if that's a word. Well, it is a word now. Yeah, so let's the relationship self. So that's what got sold during the marketing process to get into the relationships. And then you're burdened because that's what you sold. You have to keep being that, but it's not you. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes due to different things, finances, whatever, social status, etc., whatever the case is. That's why some people keep hanging on. But guess what? Those relationships, they will end. They have to. And if you notice, when a lot of people make money or get to their true self, they get out of these relationships because they can now afford to, or they see a need to become who they really are or who they want to be. So a lot of people are in relationships and they're really being suppressed. They're being suppressed because that's not them. They just compromise too much and live an uncomfortable life for years until they got out some way, somehow. First of all, you didn't like basketball. Now you love basketball. Okay. Why? Not because you love it, because that's what your spouse loves. That's what your boyfriend or your girlfriend love. So now you love it. But you really like fishing. You know what I'm saying? Just like myself, I'd rather spend my time making nice sandals, wallets, belts, or whatever the case is, versus going to hang out somewhere, because my brain power has to go somewhere, right? And I'm a creative, so I have to put my brain power in something that makes sense to me. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with hanging out, each to his own, different folks with different strokes, but it's just my personal thing. All right, so you can't be your true self because some way, somehow, you may want the status or you're subjugated financially or otherwise, so you're stuck in that relationship. And you do complain to your friends, your close friends, family members sometimes, but they don't understand. Some of them probably do. You get what I'm saying? But those relationships, they have to end. It's the universal law. It's the law of the universe, right? They have to end. And it's very discomforting because a lot of people would dread going home, right? Ignore phone calls from their spouses because they know the subject matter is not going to be something they want to hear. It's not them. Hills Like White Elephant, Ernest Hemingway. Are you okay with it? Well, I'm not okay with it, but since you like it, well, do you really like it? Well, I don't really like it, but since you do, self-compromise. You see what I'm saying? And that's what you get. Yeah, self-compromising yourself. It's gonna end. I've seen relationships that went for 30 years that way, right? And they do end. They do end. But it's up to you. You get what I'm saying? It's really up to it. A lot of times people have some ways and tendencies that their spouses don't even know about, or they don't want their spouses to find out about. Why? Okay, so let's get into the sandals, man. Looks good, but is it comfortable? It is comfortable because I tried this on during the making process. Get what I'm saying? This sandals is to celebrate Sudan, the country of Sudan. Any person knows Sudan. It's a country in Africa. I think it's in the northeast side, right beside the Red Sea area there. Sudan. So on this sandals is the Sudanese secretary bird. I think it's their national bird, right? Sudanese secretary bird. And also we got the colors of the Sudanese flag, which is red, green, black, white. Okay, and that's the secretary bird right here. Yeah, and that's how it looks. Okay, so that's how this painting is really nice. I enjoyed making this piece right here. Very lovely. And then the creative part for me was using these type of leather. This leather right here is very soft. Okay, something I learned over time that it's not about the look. The comfort is more important than the look. Right? And we spoke about relationship, the same aspect, the comfort. So image is really, well, it's kind of something, but thirst, it means a lot. So you look at the design, we got bear skin. This is Kodiak skin. Bear skin is very oily material. Okay, same thing here. And for the toe straps also. So to get this toe strap, to mold this leather kinder, it's easy to mold. And once you put it on, boom. Toes go over here. So I molded this leather with this. Simple. Paper clip, just sit it on there overnight. You wake up, it's like that. The toes go right here. It's very comfortable. And then sew different pieces of leather with the black leather, and the red leather is also part of the Sudanese flag, red and black, to match. Right? This green one right here, I just sewed it around before I glued on the bottom to it. And the bottom of this sandals is that horse saddle, the same material they used to make horse saddle, same thing I used to make the bottom. And then I gave the heel a thicker piece than I usually do, which these heels are looking more. I used to use a thinner layer to make the heels, but I use a thicker layer to make this heel. It looks very nice. Glued on the bottom, horse saddle, then glued on the top, right? And if you look at the other videos below, you can see where I was sewing this top. Okay, so all the painting right here and then nothing here, just leaving it blank, and all the sides also leave blank, which I did smooth down with sandpaper. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, each sandals I make, they get better, they look better. I tend to have a more touch to making these things. It gets better with time. And if you're into arts, craft, fashion, I love fashion and I love creating stuff. Sandals is one of my favorite things to make. One of my favorite things to make is a leather sandals, okay? And I make most women's sandals, okay, but I also make men's sandals. You can do this at home. This is something you can do yourself. You take your time and you learn it over time. You play with it. You really have to love it because it takes a lot of time. And you got to be patient, okay? So with leather, the main thing is the details in the leather, like this painting right here. So you'll find yourself being a lot of different things when you become a creator of leather work. You become a lot of different things because I didn't know I could paint this well until I started doing this. You get what I'm saying? Right. So you're a painter, right? You know how to engineer leather work. Okay. I haven't sewed for years with a sewing machine until I got back into leather work. And now I started sewing. Okay, so I'm learning different things about sewing as the years go by also, right? So you learn a lot of different things. And like I said, you can do this at your house. You can do this at home. You don't have to be in a rush. Take your time. Make it neat, make it nice, sew it right, glue it right. Okay, so when you put the glue on, you can use these paper clips to hold it like this and let it sit overnight. So when you wake up, it's solidly bonded with that super glue. It's leather glue, leather super glue that's below here. So that's something you can do also, okay? Right, and here's the bottom, side view. This is it. And you use sandpaper. You can pick up your sandpaper, your local hardware or wherever it's at. Pick up your sandpaper to sand the sides. And if you notice this glossy top, it has this glossy look in. That's just a pure leather. Pure leather. There's nothing on top of this. The painting is only right here. Okay, with the soft bare skin, that's very oily. Now beneath this, you'll have where I burned the edges of the thread. Then this is wax thread that I used to sew this piece together. Okay, you can see the burnt edges right here. Now when you burn these edges, one of the important things to do is press them down, because this is where a person's foot is going to be, and you don't want that little round bump right here to squeeze them, right? So with this type of leather, you can really press into it. So you press that thread down into that leather, so when they put it on, they don't feel the thread. Okay, that's also another thing. In the top right here, same thing. Same thing. And prefer to put the little burnt bumps of threads all the way down here, right? And squeeze it into this type of leather. So it all depends on the type of leather. So there's a lot of different things that you could do when you're doing leather work, okay? And they splice right here. And the other foot of the sandals is very similar, okay? It's not perfect, but it's good, right? So this is handmade. It's not factory or machine made. If you look at the next foot of the sandals, you'll see similar. Okay, similar thing, similar made. I glued these two pieces of leather together. Then I used my leather punch to punch these holes, and then I sewed it up and down. It's not a horse saddle, kind of like up and down sew, right, to get that pattern. That's the pattern, same pattern right here. This is how you get this pattern, right? You just up, in, out, in, out, in, out. Tie both threads together, then burn the ends, and you squeeze them down in the leather. That's how you get that, right? Same thing, molding the leather in the front right here. All of these, a lot of techniques I developed while making these sandals. Okay, you're going to develop your own techniques, and don't try to be another leather creator or another person who makes leather. Just make it work for you if you're working on leather, okay? A lot of things you're going to learn, and you're going to come up with some imperfections. Okay, for example, this right here, this is where I stopped the thread at, and it's obvious. That's big and obvious. Okay, so you cut the thread and you kind of burn it right there, right? But you don't want this right here. Okay, you want it to be straight, neat, and in line, and you could use a needle to push it in. In this case, I couldn't push it in because the thread was, if you could see right there. Okay, so I had to cut it and burn it. So again, it's not a perfect thing, but it's a good thing, right? So you develop a lot of different skills if you're a hobbyist or whatnot. Same with the sewing right here, okay? And then I glued in these also, these toe straps, glue them in, and it's very comfortable. Okay, bottom, same thing. Yes, okay, remove this red thread. Right, so shout out to Sudan. Right, we're going to be making a lot more leather craft, and when you finish with both foot of your sandals, you should have them even, like so. Okay, you look at the sandals and they're even, Stephen. See that? Even. There shouldn't be one longer than one. There shouldn't be one bigger than one. It shouldn't be like that. It should be even. All right, develop your techniques as you go. Develop your techniques as you go. And to get this glossy top on top of these sandals, all I did was use a piece of extra leather. A lot of these leathers I use to make wallets on the inside of wallets. So just a little piece of scrap leather. And you'll be surprised to see what you could do with scrap leather. You get what I'm saying? And you shine it, use this shiny side, and you put to this shiny part of this sandals, and you just shine it around like so. And that's really it, okay? So we're gonna continue on the journey of making different things, projects here and there, keep you occupied, give you something to do. So if you're at the house and bored, you just don't have time to be wasting doing nothing. You could be on a creative journey, making something for yourself, a loved one, a friend, a family member, and improve your creativity with time. You improve your creativity with time. So once again, this is the Sudan sandals. I love it. One of the most unique pieces I've done so far. The Sudanese sandals. Very unique, right? Very simple. It's not very complicated either. It's not simple to make, but the look and the finished product is very simple, straightforward, and nothing but comfort, which is optimum, right? So keep that in mind. The thing could look nice, but it's not comfortable. You understand? Make sure you get both. Nice, looks nice, and comfortable, right? Whether you're doing leather work or it's a relationship or relation boat, because you see what's happening these days. Once again, it's big muscle. I'll stay on the hustle. Start on your leather journey today, and let's keep this rolling. Catch me in the next video. Peace.